Welcome y'all, and today we have a new edition, Ultra 2 Echomap 166sv. And these are the graphs I've been using. I bet you can't guess the size of this graph. It's going to be a 126sv. It's a pretty huge difference. And something I like to do is when the screens are off, I like to see how black the actual panel is. And the 126 is just a little bit darker than the 166. The 106 easily has the darkest screen, and that gives you the most contrast. And I got the 16-inch screen without the transducer, and all it really comes with is a bracket. I was trying to install it, but it started raining. Pretty much a power cord. And on the Echomap 166, it's very similar to the 8616 or the 1643, where there's no kind of cradle or quick disconnect. And the main difference you're going to see here is the new Ultra 2s do not have the LVS 12 port. And on the 16-inch version, they added an HDMI output. It's going to come in handy for screen recording. And this thing is not light at all. Feels like a brick. Remember, this doesn't have a cradle, and it's actually raining right now, so this Ethernet plug's always going to be exposed. So if you look in your packaging, you'll have these covers on there still. Just make sure you keep the cover on the Ethernet cord. That way it'll be waterproof, and it actually fits really tight. For the power cord, you can use the NEMA 2000 cover. Kind of squeeze it on there, and it fits pretty snug, not super tight, but it's definitely going to be waterproof. And on these wire ends, all I did was strip another 1/2 inch and fold it over, wrap some electrical tape around it, and clip it into a 10 gauge connector. And I actually use 10 gauge wire as a lead. And that way this will be a little bit easier to hook up than these thinner wire. Stripped a good amount of the cover off and try to save some of this for a better connection. And this connection in is hollow, so I'm going to add some wire in here. And this is a tinned wire. Crimp it down. I like to go a little bit near the end and then just chop it off. That's a pretty solid connection. I'm going to go set up an umbrella real quick just in case it starts raining again. Alright, we're going to be putting it on a cornfield folding graph mount. See, I already got the other graph removed. And on the bracket, I'm going to put it where you put the graph in and then back. And these bolts that came with the cornfield mount fit pretty good without washers. They're almost like lug nuts. Like when they get in the hole, they kind of center themselves. And I don't have any Loctite on here, but I haven't been using it for the last couple years and it's been working pretty good. Just snug. And all the wires are going to go down through this cornfield crappie. This is called a wire puck. But from in here with the rubber gasket into the anchor locker. Oh, hey. Cornfield mount is nut and bolted to the bottom of the anchor locker. That's the routing hole. And in here we've got a main cutoff, some power distribution. We've got the 10x1 NOCO. The actual charging cable comes right into this port. Let's see if I can get it. There it is. And this is the original trolling motor port, but I just kind of wire tucked it into a little hole. Also, this is the battery we were running. 230 amp. This boat did used to have 5 graphs. We're going down to 2 graphs. And right here I used to have the network expander. And this used to go to the graph on the console. I'm probably going to use this as a pull wire now. Network cable, I got the short one because it went to the GMS 10. We're going to have to go back to the original GLS 10 long cable, the 2-piece cable. Get this out the way. Alright, coming through. Got the fuse in there. I think this one's going to be an 8 amp fuse. That's what it says on the wire. Wire is very thin though, very surprising. I really thought it was going to be like a lot thicker cable. Alright, here comes the network cable. All the pins look good, really clean. Kind of hate that I'm going to be using a 2-piece cable again. Network cable looks really good. No kind of corrosion on the pins. Little groove, I believe, goes upwards. More like 11 o'clock. Push it in first. Wiggle it. Tighten it down. Alright, this is going to be power for the GLS 10. If you know anything about electronics, sometimes you gotta disconnect and reconnect. Try to get a better connection sometimes. It's super cinched down. While we're in here, we're gonna wiggle this cord. Check this cord. Oh look, this cord was a little bit loose, see? Matter of fact, we're gonna unplug it. Plug it back in. Make sure it's extra tight. Alright, let's get these graphs hooked up. Remember, we added a little bit of wire. Now you can kind of see why whenever I tighten this, it would crush that hollow wire. And I almost got an 8616 or 1643. I was kind of thinking, you know how like whenever something comes out 5 years later, they probably build it a little bit different. Maybe like, I can't even explain it, the engineering of the circuit boards or, you know, that kind of technical stuff. And throw these covers back onto this wet mess. I don't know. I gotta do something about this. I even put drains right here in these corners. But I don't know what's happening. Maybe I gotta jack my boat up higher. Go ahead and turn the switch on. Oh yeah, she is pretty heavy. I ain't too worried about it because I did have 2 12s on here at one time on the same mount. Orange O-ring. Alright, let's go with network port 1, closest to the power wire. Always push in, wiggle, and then tighten. On power, notch is going to be at 12 o'clock. Ready, cover off. Oh, it's already on. Nice. Set it up real quick. Store demo, screen lock, unauthorized use of data, skip. Okay. Powerboat, 24. Shallow water, no. Overhead clearance, 15. How can I skip this? Accept. Alright, so when I first powered it up, we were on charts. I selected sonar, and I found, and that's live right now. Everything looks completely different on here. Turn off auto. Wow, okay. Looks way different. Sonar setup. Go ahead and put our settings in. I'm gonna go with Moss. Back. Color gain. Let's just go to 80. Back. Color limit. Default 0. What else do we gotta do? Sonar setup. Noise recheck high. Ghost off, TVG off. So that's nice. It comes like that. That's already kind of settings I use, but I like to drop my installation depth. Oh, it's already at 2. How? That's what I usually use. I never calibrated for like 4 years, and it works fine. Forward, auto fresh, everything looks good. It's freezing out here. And we're gonna zoom in all the way. And we want to make sure we see 6 big clusters, or like a cluster like that. That means that everything should be working correctly. And I forgot to turn the grid lines off. Kind of hate those. So in our setup, layout, turn off the grid, on-screen controls on, scroll history, hide, reverse range. I like running it on default. You know, and this year I think I'm gonna play around a little bit with bottom fill. And something else cool about the Ultra is I can just hold this button now. And that's always gonna be number 1. The voltage is looking pretty good too, 13.4 on about an 80% battery. I've been through the settings a whole bunch of times and I can't find out how to get rid of this bottom bar. Let me know if you know. Oh, backlight was low. Okay, this is pretty bright. All right, and I'm hoping these are gonna be waterproof. Let's cross our fingers on this one. All right, cables that went to the console. We don't need them no more. It's pouring. It's a glorious day, guys. We're finally putting our windshield back on. We should be able to make longer runs a little bit more comfortably. A little bit more storage area right here. Still gotta fill up them holes. Maybe I can get this back up in there. Alright guys, thanks for watching and I'll catch you on the next one.